Sometimes a watch just doesn't click with you. I had this Revelot Mecadromo for 6 months on its black rubber strap, and it just didn't work for me. But before I consigned it to the scrap heap known as eBay, I thought I'd give it one last go. Could one simple change to this watch mean that it gets extra life in my watch collection? Let's go find out. Hi there, I'm Dave. Welcome back to the Microbrand Watch channel. If you're coming back, if it's your first time here, we take a look at Microbrand watches to figure out if they're worth the hype and the money. And that's a perfect question for this Revelot Mecadromo. This looked like the perfect Microbrand buy. Great specs, beautiful vintage motorsport inspired design, but for some reason it just didn't work for me. Coming in at under £200, it should have been the perfect watch. For some reason, the DLC version that I've got on a black rubber strap just felt a little bit light and cheap and toy-like. It just didn't work. I'm not a huge fan of chronos, as I said. The dials are a little bit busy. There's a lot going on there. So for a chrono to work for me, it has to be perfect. And for whatever reason, this one wasn't. It became the watch that I admired, that I should have liked, much more than I actually did. But before we dive into why, let's take a look at those specs that I keep talking about. So the Mecadromo is built around a 41.5mm 318L stainless steel case that's only 12.3mm thick. It's got an almost perfect 48mm lug to lug with bullhorn shaped lugs, and as I said, on my version, the case is coated in DLC for that improved hardness. Sitting on top of that is a beautiful domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, and inside you've got the Seiko VK63 meca quartz movement. So you've got a quartz base with that mechanical chrono module, giving you a nice smooth sweep on that chrono hand. Water resistance is rated at 10 atmospheres or 100 meters, so absolutely fine to go jumping in the pool or the sea when you go to the beach. And the loom is Swiss Super Luminova with a quick release system for swapping those straps out. And as you'll see later, that came in quite handy. From a design perspective, Revelot describes the Mecadromo as a modern chronograph with vintage racing vibes. You can see in the mix of brushed and polished surfaces and in those multifaceted lugs, that's exactly what you're getting here. My petrol teal version pairs a black DLC case with a really nice textured dial. Up close, there's some lovely graining that adds an awful lot of depth to this watch. Another thing I do really like on here is the minute track. It's laid out like the starting grid on a racetrack, or some might look at it as looking a little bit like a checkered flag. Either way, there's a lovely motorsport touch that really reinforces that theme. The color matched bezel shows that tachymeter grading. Not sure if anybody actually ever uses that with a chronograph, but it looks very, very nice. But then you start to get into a few problems. That anti-reflective coating might be on there, but the challenge that you have on a sunny day with a black dial is that you get a lot of reflections. Combine that with the very, very intricate small subdials, and for aging eyes like mine, you've got an awful lot going on, which sometimes impairs the legibility. So all in all, I got a watch that felt a little bit light, a little bit cheap on the strap that I had, with challenging legibility. It's easy to see why this one didn't get a lot of time on my wrist. But as I say, before sending it off to the gods of eBay, I thought I'd make one small change to see if I could get it going again. And that change was quite simply to change the strap. That rubber strap just didn't work for me. But a lot of the images that I'd seen online were of the Mecadromo on a black racing style strap, perforated dots in there. So I thought, why not? What have I got to lose? Let's give it a go. Off went the order to Revelot, and about 10 days later, a nice shiny black leather strap arrived. And boy, what a difference. The first thing you notice is the little bit of contrast that you get from the white stitching on the strap. It's not a lot, but it's enough to just change the design element up a little bit. The other thing that the strap does is it adds a little bit of heft, it adds a little bit of weight, it's a little bit thicker than the rubber strap, which actually makes a huge amount of difference. This now feels like a watch instead of a toy. This new strap with a little bit more heft suddenly made the watch feel like something I could actually wear instead of something that just sits in the watch collection. And you know what? After a week or so, the Mecadromo actually started to see some wrist time. This was coming out of the box much, much more. I was much happier wearing this because it actually felt like something I could be proud of instead of something that I just had on my wrist because I thought I should do. Look, there are still drawbacks, right? The anti-reflective coating is still a bit of a challenge on a sunny day. Those dials are still a bit small for me unless I'm wearing my reading glasses. But overall, I'm happy to deal with those now. This watch has suddenly come to life for me. So I'm going to give it another go. Keep it in the collection, start wearing it more, and maybe just wear my glasses a little bit more as well. So did the strap save the Mecadromo? Well, yeah, it did. And that's really the story here, right? On paper, the Mecadromo should have been perfect. The specs are fantastic. The price is fantastic. The heritage that Revelot is delivering with all of its watches at the moment are fantastic. But on the rubber strap, it just didn't work for me. You'd be hard pressed to find specs better than that anywhere for this price. But my bad luck or bad judgment was buying it on the rubber strap. As soon as I put on the racing leather strap, the whole watch changed. It changed into something that felt more substantial, that felt more rounded, that felt like something I could wear anytime, anywhere, and be proud of. And that's important. So if you're considering buying the Revelot Mecadromo, I'd say absolutely go for it. But make sure that you take the time to decide which strap works best for you. If you're going to be wearing it in the pool a lot, if you're going to be wearing it outdoors, then go for the rubber strap. But be prepared for it to feel a little bit flimsy, a little bit light. If, like me, you want to wear it maybe in more casual scenarios or in the office or just down the pub, do take a look at that leather racing strap because it adds an awful lot. It adds that little bit of color matching, that little bit of differentiation. It adds some weight to it, and it makes it a watch that I genuinely want to wear, and I think you will too. Look, the Revelot Mecadromo is great value. It's great specs. It looks great, and now that I've got it on the right strap, it's a really, really good fit for me. I'm glad that I didn't throw this one out to the confines of eBay and get rid of it. I'm glad I took the time to find another strap that worked for me. But what about you? Have you ever changed the way you think about a watch with a simple strap change? Let me know in the comments, send in some pictures, send in some videos of a before and after of a watch that you maybe didn't get on with, but by changing the strap, everything changed. Or the opposite, if you put a strap on one of your watches and it looked horrible afterwards, let us know so we don't all make the same mistake. If you found this video useful, please do consider liking it and subscribing to the channel because there are more videos like this coming very, very soon. Also, if you've got friends and colleagues out there who you think might benefit, feel free to share it with them and let them learn from the mistake that I almost made by throwing this Revelot out. I'm glad that I didn't get rid of my Mecadromo, and I now am firmly aware of the fact that Revelot absolutely is a micro brand that I need to watch. Until next time now, enjoy your watches.